Speaking in simple past can be easier than you think. Here are some uses which can help you recognize when and how to use simple past while you're talking. First of all, let's take a look at the simple past structure according to EnglishPage.com. When you have a regular verb, you must add ed at the end of the verb. In some verbs, you only have to add the. Then we have irregular verbs, or verbs that have a specific way to form the past. You must be careful to write them according to some specific rules. Let's take a look at some examples with the verb write. She wrote a letter to Escuela de Idiomas. In this affirmative sentence, the verb write is written wrote, and it takes the place a verb normally takes in an affirmative sentence. Now, with interrogative sentences, it changes a little bit. First of all, you use the auxiliary did in the beginning of the sentence, then the subject, the verb in its simple form, and finally the complements, like in this example. Did she write a letter to Escuela de Idiomas? Finally, when negating, you must add the auxiliary and the negation particle followed by the verb in its simple form. She did not write a letter to Escuela de Idiomas. The former explanation is the same for regular verbs, like in the following examples. Professor Jimmy passed away yesterday in Medellin. Did Professor Jimmy pass away yesterday in Medellin? Professor Jimmy did not pass away yesterday in Medellin. Both irregular and regular become easier when you study them and use them in your regular speech. Now, let's explore the different uses for the simple past. Use 1. Completed action in the past. Use the simple past to express the idea that an action started and finished at a specific time in the past. Sometimes, the speaker may not actually mention the specific time, but they do have a specific time in mind. Example: I did my homework yesterday. Use 2. A series of completed actions. Use the simple past to list a series of completed actions in the past. Example: Marta finished work, walked to campus, and found a nice place to relax over Escuela de Idiomas. Use 3. Duration in past. Use the simple past with duration which starts and stops in the past. Duration is a longer action, often indicated by expressions such as for 2 years, for 5 minutes, all day, all year. Example: I studied in Escuela de Idiomas for 5 years. Use 4. Habits in the past. Use the simple past to describe a habit which stopped in the past. It can have the same meaning as used to. To make it clear that we're talking about a habit, we often add expressions such as always, often, usually, never, when I was a child, when I was younger. Example: I studied Portuguese when I was in the university. Use 5. Past facts or generalizations. Use the simple past to describe past facts or generalizations which are no longer true. Example: I was timid when I studied in Escuela de Idiomas, but now I am very outgoing. Finally, simple past is a regular tense Anglophones use every day. So, the more you use it, the more you will improve your English.